Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. Alright, so today we got a bit of an experiment for you guys, and that is building more space elevators. So let's get started. Alright, so we've done a few space elevators in the past. One is with the rotor wheels, basically rotors with those fake kind of spare wheels. These wheels right here didn't really work out too well, especially when it was too heavy and it didn't really grip it too well. So we swapped it to a suspension wheel system, and that worked fine to a certain point, which didn't work out with when it was too heavy. And then we switched over to some kind of hovercraft or hover monorail type of elevator, which worked out okay, but building it was a little too tedious and didn't get to finish it, unfortunately, but it works. And now we're going to play around with a different type of space elevator, such as this right here. Alright, so you might be asking, what in the world is this system? So I was trying to play around and experiment to see if this actually works for a space elevator. It fortunately does work, but unfortunately it gets you really dizzy, and it's not that viable unless you can figure out how to get the seats to not spin with the system itself. So what I've done here is basically put in a column right in the middle. So this is what we are running on for the space elevator. So it's basically 4 blocks here with the round slope blocks here. We put in the wheel suspensions and we turn them all on one side. So I think that's the left side turn. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But once we're in here, in the control panels, you'll see our wheels are all set on steering override all the way to 100%. So each and every one of these like that. You'll see some of the powers, 30%, strength at 10, height offsets at minus 60. 100% friction, speed limits at 100 for now, and very importantly, we need to take off air shock, because that usually breaks things, if anything. But here is the space elevator as it is. So right now it's unparked, but if I unpark it and drive forward, this is what happens. You get a nice bit of a spin here, and it slowly climbs up, although we don't have that much speed, but it seems like a viable thing in terms of getting it to move. But if I don't touch the camera at all, yes, we're just gonna a spinning nightmare basically. If you stop it and don't press any parking, it's gonna spin back downwards based on the direction of the steering, or maybe it's just gonna slip down. All right, that's a new one that never happened before. However, if we remote into it, you'll see that we have a nice little spinning motion here, and it is slowly climbing up. It's not the fastest elevator whatsoever, but it is kind of working okay. Wasn't expecting it to work, but we got it to work. But again, it's a spinning nightmare, especially if you're sitting in the seat. So with that done, it'll take forever to get to space, obviously. This way we could increase the speed eventually and see what that does, but the main point was to have these seats right over here, or at least have these little hab stations or whatever sit on some rotors. So then that way, when we grab this thing and go upwards, we didn't want it to spin with the system. We wanted to spin opposite of it, so it's stable and kind of like gyroscopic in a way, so that you don't get dizzy and everything like that. So we wanted to keep that same focus like in this one way. I don't know how to do it specifically, and I played around with it a couple times. I tried to work with the gyroscope to do like a gyroscope override to see if it works. I tried a custom turret controller, which kind of works, but you gotta control yourself. We've done many different things, like take the rotors, we spun it at a equal, try to spin at the equal speed, and that kind of worked out okay. So either way, you're still spinning it. So I really wanted to just kind of stand still and not rotate with the whole entire thing. Of course, leave a comment down below if you know how to fix that issue. So another example of playing around with it is basically going torqueless or turning it off. Let's just say torqueless for now. Get on the seat, remote in, and then control it. It doesn't spin as much, which is great, but it still spins a little bit. But it's gotten a lot better. Actually, no, this actually worked out okay. But it does eventually spin out a little bit So you see here, I'm moving a little bit more to the right in terms of the mountain. I wanted to keep it more still, and that'll be a viable option. But this is insane elevator. I'm surprised it actually works okay. But again, it's a dizzying, nauseating elevator here. And since we're testing it, we might as well go crazy with this and go a little faster. So we're gonna do probably unlimited speed, leave the power, and see what happens. So this may or may not be a quick little test, but we're gonna save you the nausea and do this in spectator mode. So we're gonna climb up. This is unlimited speed, so it is pretty fast in terms of top speed. And you'll see meters per second. We're not going that fast, but yeah, that's a dizzying machine, as you see here. So this is unlimited speed, so that's as quick as it's gonna go upwards, which is probably 1 to 2 meters per second. That'll take forever to get into space, but you see my character right in the middle there. It's actually kind of working okay, where you don't spin too much, but it's still a little ridiculous. And you see how well this kind of climbs. I was really unexpectedly thinking this is not going to work, but it's a possibility for a space elevator. It'll take years to reach up there. But yeah, as you see here, we climb all the way to the top at a pretty decent speed. Really, really slow, but it kind of works out okay. And we could go down easily just going backwards. As you see here, it doesn't necessarily slide down. The fun thing about gravity, though, is if you let go, it's going to continue to go down on its own. And that is our potential spinning space elevator that I will probably never ever make because it's a little too nauseating. But if I get these pillars to kind of like really be still while we're spinning, then that would be 100% ideal. Then we can probably get this thing going. We could probably change the steering a little bit as well to make it work a little bit better. And what I mean by that is the steering angle. So right now it's 20%. So we spun it 46%. It looks like that's a little crazy. It started to slide down a bit, but not really. Okay, that actually is a better angle, so it's a little bit faster. So that could potentially work. As you see here. Oh, that's actually not much better. So we're going down now. I actually like that a little bit more. So the steering angle was the way to go for this experiment here. And if I'm pressing backwards, we go down pretty quickly. Again, you're going to get quite dizzy sitting in this seat. But if you, you close your eyes and everything like that, you'll make it to space in the next year or so. All right, with the steering angle at that 46 degrees, literally it's not that bad. So if we're climbing upwards again, start slow because the power is slow. It looks like it's slipping, so I think I need to put a little bit more friction if we're going to go with this route. So if I played around with it a little bit more, so not friction, we need a height offset. So it was at point or negative 60. We want to hug it a little bit more. Let's just say 0.7. That might work a little bit better because it's a little more grippier that way. Yep, looks like it's gripping that better that way. And you see here it is spinning. Again, not really that fast, but again, it was just a test to see if that was even a possibility, and it looks like it could work. So with that complicated one, I also thought of a simple one. Well, didn't really think of it, but it's a simple version of it. And basically having a pillar to put up your space elevator. So basically, you're going to have your seat here or your throne here. So let's just say, why am I typing throne? Your toilet here if you want. And you're going to go upwards in this space elevator. So this is... The idea with this one is basically go upwards with your seat or hab station or whatever the case is. And then it's gonna be on a pillar going straight up, being held by these landing gears. And we're gonna move the pistons up with, you guessed it, wheels. Yeah, so it's as simple as pushing the wheels go upwards or downwards in this case, as you see here. So there's the basic elevator here where it goes up. Using that piece over there. And it can go down pretty quickly. Right now it's on a piston for the build process. So basically, I was thinking of making it into piston go up, landing gears lock in, piston go down, build it, and then it goes lock in again. Just kind of the way I was thinking of doing that, but that is not exactly how this one works. So the idea for this one is have a whole pillar set already. We gotta dig all the way down so that the space elevator pillar can be low to the ground. But this is the way I was thinking of building it, with a piston where we put a landing gear, lock it in, build it, and then we drop the landing gear, put the piston back up, as you see here. Drop the piston, build out the pillar. So this is the automated way of building the pillar for this elevator if possible. So that's going to take hours and hours to build, but of course, that was just concept-wise to build out a space elevator with a single pillar in this case. So we'll let that kind of build itself out. Let me just stop this. And there you go. So the aim here and the goal here was to just be able to use 2 wheels or maybe 4 wheels to surround it and just bring it up slowly. So again, this host right here could just be the whole station or half station, wherever the case may be, where we sit here and then have this elevator go upwards. But again, it does require us to drill a hole deep down, so it might actually be on the other side of the planet by the time we could reach space. Which would be interesting to do, because it'll be a 2-pronged thing. One is drilling down directly through the Earth and then go straight up. Is it possible? I think so. How much time it's going to take? Probably a lot, but that is a possibility for space elevators, especially just using these wheels to kind of climb up. So if you see here, just using wheels to go upwards. So it looks like we have an issue here, and that is the lack of power. Because the more pillars we have, the heavier it gets. So we lack power there. So yeah, this is the space elevator I was thinking of doing. And as you see here, even if we build the wheels up like this, we built the platform down in the bottom. And that could be quickly done as well. And we don't have to work with the piston to do this. But of course, we need a long projection in order for this pillar to work. But as you see here, this is how the space elevator was intended to be used. Except the fact that we don't have a deep little hole towards the bottom for it to come down right now. But eventually, if we did want to build something like this, yeah, just dig a hole where the piston is, and we could go all the way up eventually. And it'll be pretty quick, because as you see here, we can get it to move fairly quickly. So let's see. Let's just do it for fun. We'll put the parking brakes on. Get rid of the piston. And if anything, we could do a bit of a voxel hand here. All right, now we can easily drop this thing into this little hole I created here with voxel hands. There is a maximum point there. I didn't go all the way down, but let's see how far we can go. Right there. And you'll see that it is kind of roughly in there. And this is our elevator, our potential new way of doing elevators. So how well would this work? I mean, it could do pretty well, I think. Let's just back this thing out a little bit. And this is the elevator seat or whatever. Well, it could be lower, but let's just say for an example, we're going to go take a look a little bit in the further distance, because what I'm planning to do is just launch this thing out. All right. We're gonna launch this thing outright. So hopefully this is a good view right here. And in 3, 2, 1. That didn't work. I'm gonna go a little bit further back, and hopefully this is a good view. You see how deep it is. Not too deep right there. So it's gonna launch pretty quickly. So in 3, 2, 1, go. A much quicker elevator, but with a short straw like that, Not gonna go too far. And there goes the destruction. So definitely a possibility with these two types of wheel elevators. One, of course, being you're gonna get way too dizzy. And the other one, you need to dig all the way down, maybe even past the planet itself. So it's a bit of an interesting experiment, and I hope you guys enjoyed this space elevator one. If you did, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to drop a comment down below, even to just say hi. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.